I have a question for the literary agents or anyone who knows literary agent and knows the publishing world, anything at all like that, because I've been deep diving into the world of book publishing, what a literary agent is, etc. And one of the things that I'm seeing that's very, very important if someone is trying to get a literary agent is making sure that the book that they want to debut, for example, which is why they're probably getting the literary agent, actually matches the type of books that the literary agent usually works on. And also, like, maybe they have, like, it's called like a manuscript wish list, which I didn't know was, but again, been going deep down of kind of seeing the kind of books that they would like to work on and represent, and also just like what kind of books they're reading and who they've represented as authors and writers. But my question after watching all these videos is, if you find a literary agent that focuses on a particular genre, are you stuck there? Like, can they represent the other ones? Like, I guess that's my main concern, because like, what if an author is debuting a novel, right? So they go and look for a literary agent that specializes in that genre, but the author already had a bunch of ideas for other genres. Like, is it a situation where the author has to just like scrap those ideas because they're not working with someone who might be down with that? Like, if they are publishing or rather debuting with like a fantasy or romantasy or something like that, but then they decide to do like contemporary fiction or historical fiction later, like, do they have to scrap the second idea? I'm going to give you an example of what I mean, because I have 4 book ideas as of right now, and again, I do think that they are different. The first book that I'm working on that I hear a lot of literary agents don't really like, and that's the one that I'm working on, the first one, is kind of like a romance fantasy with humor. So it's about 2 best friends, one that's really sweet, one that's sarcastic, who accidentally get caught up in a kingdom level war. There's actually like danger and stakes here, but there's also a lot of humor, because the second character, the sarcastic one, keeps calling out like fantasy tropes as they're happening. So when the first character falls in love with like the king and has to help decipher the threat, the second character, their sharp wit and meta commentary keeps them alive as they navigate danger, romance, and fantasy cliches turned real. Second one's technically contemporary fiction. It's about a Latina STEM student whose psychology class unexpectedly becomes a journey of self-discovery through alternating chapters where we follow class lectures and then also deeply personal assignments that she completes. And as she applies these real psychological concepts to her life, she confronts things like imposter syndrome, identity, and the pressure of being first gen in higher education. Third one is historical fiction about a Puerto Rican high school senior who has to learn about her ancestry from a class project. And then when she finds her grandmother's old necklace, she's transported back in time to the defining moments of her history. So with each trip, she uncovers ancestral truths, witnesses colonization firsthand, and reconnects with the culture that she never really understood. The last book is kind of like an epic fantasy, political fantasy. It's about a young woman in a kingdom where only royal family supposedly possesses magic until people, including the main character, starts accidentally showing it. She discovers that the rulers have been suppressing everyone's power to stay in control, and when things escalate, her and her friends have to escape to a neighboring kingdom, and they begin to unravel the conspiracy at the heart of like their world and life. And from what I'm seeing, because those are so different, it would be almost impossible to get a literary agent to be with you through all those different genres.